What's up, guys? We're here with the Kyosho Fazer FZ-02L Mad Van Mark2. This thing's going to be pretty cool, I think. So you can tell the box art's awesome. This is actually my second attempt at recording this video because the first attempt, I accidentally tilted the camera the wrong direction and basically ruined the entire video because I didn't realize it. So that was an hour down the drain. Don't worry, that was just an empty box. As you can see, I've got an empty spot on the shelf right here for it. Now, since I already did try to do this, I have already taken it out and driven it because I already tried to record this once. We're gonna go ahead and go through everything that comes in the box, and I've already done a little bit of stuff to get some things ready because there is one thing on this that I wanna do to it that's awesome. There's one thing that I already did do to this just because I think it looks cool. Then there's a couple things I wanted to show you that this comes with that are pretty cool. One thing to be aware of, this does not come with a battery and charger. That does. That does. That can. $219, and it does come with a battery and charger. That being said, for that one to have any sort of runtime or quick charge, you're going to need to get the Reedy charger, which is $45 or $50, and then a Reedy 1500 or 1600 milliamp 2-cell LiPo, which is in that video, and those are $25. So you're going to be about 75 bucks. Well, you can get pretty much the same thing plus a 4000 milliamp 2-cell LiPo for this for about $15 more than that. So it's not a huge difference in price if you're going to go with the 2-cell LiPo in that anyway. These are still very comparable. The other thing I need to tell you is they discontinued the purple. 3 days after I ordered this, I found out they discontinued the purple. The purple's awesome. Why'd you discontinue the purple? Come on, Kyosho, the purple is so cool. But I digress. Let's get into the truck, monster van. Let's get into the van. So let's get into the van and I'll show you a few things that I do like and don't like about it. First thing, you may have just noticed, those are not the factory body clips. So these are the E-Power fluorescent yellow ones. I'm sure you can get them from different brands, but I know E-Power has them here at our local hobby shop. They look cool on this purple. And the main reason I use them is because the factory ones are so tight, I had to use pliers to get them off. They're a heavy gauge and a very tight grip, so I couldn't hardly get them off. These have a bigger grab and they're bent up, so I can actually grab them. The other thing that I did is you can see here, I took a Sharpie, a silver Sharpie, and I actually went over the lugs on all sides and the bead locks because I thought that that just looked cool. I like adding little touches like that to certain stuff just to give it that little bit of personality. So there's the vehicle. We'll go over some stuff here in just a minute on that. It does come with an extra sticker sheet. It's got some cool writing that I can't read because I don't speak Japanese. I'm assuming that's what that is since it's a Japanese company. But you can do your own decal sheets on there. So that's pretty cool. It comes with a manual, though it starts in Japanese and then the second one is in English. It goes through everything. So if you've never had an RC car before, this actually tells you quite a bit about the intro and the basics of stuff. Plus, it has your full parts catalog of everything in here as well. So that's pretty cool. The other thing is, it comes with a bag with more bags. Just like everything else, it has a bind plug and tools in there, but it has this too. This is a spoiler that actually mounts onto the rear end. I still have the overspray film on it, and I haven't drilled the body out to actually screw it on yet, but I can put the body clips on. You can see it actually looks pretty awesome with that lip spoiler on there. So I am going to go ahead and drill out the body and put the 3 screws in there that it comes with to mount this, because you can also just stick it on there with the body clips like I just did. If the body clip falls out, your wing's falling off too. In here, you have a few different options. One of them, you do have to cut the back of the body to fit this in because it mounts where the body is at. So that kind of sucks, but it does have a wheelie bar, not a wheelie wheel, so it will still make it go a little crazy. You've got extra servo arms, depending on if you put it in a different servo in there, shock ends, shock clips, and even different pistons for the shocks, which I thought that was a nice touch. You have bind plug, tools, E-clips, and then there's the screws for the rear mount. The other thing, I must put with my tools. The other thing this comes with that I actually thought was really awesome is it comes with a turnbuckle wrench. Just like the Associated, if you watched my review on this Pro 2 SC10, it came with a turnbuckle wrench as well. The turnbuckle wrench on this works for everything. It has like a 4, 5, 5.5 maybe, 6, 7, and 8. It has all of the turnbuckle sizes. It's an actual like turnbuckle wrench like ProTech makes for like $10. So that's a cool touch to see that in there. Also, you have the Kyosho Synchro radio, which, as you can tell, has a tilt wheel. It doesn't tell you what this switch does, so I'm assuming it does nothing. It also doesn't tell you what this switch does. So again, I'm assuming on this, it does nothing. This might be for, maybe this comes with some sort of like multi-speed transmission thing where you got neutral, forward, and reverse, like some sort of a nitro ready to run with reverse. Like, I don't know, do they have something that's similar to a T-Max? I know they have a nitro monster truck. Maybe that's what this is for. I'm not sure. I've actually seen their nitro monster truck. It's really cool. I think it's actually cooler than the T-Max. If you'd like to see that on this channel, maybe next summer as a summer basher review, please comment below, and maybe we'll get the Kyosho Nitro Monster truck for next summer. I thought about doing the Revo because the Revo is cool, but I mean, it's the Traxxas 3.3. We all know that those are junk motors, and you're gonna have to put something different on it anyway. Kyosho, what's it like? Okay, so as you can tell, this is actually pretty nice. This is actually a rubber grip. This isn't plastic. That's actually a really nice rubber, so it doesn't get slippery in your hands. The spring here is a little tighter than the associated ones. This is actually a touch looser than the associated wheel. I don't really care for that, but it is a little bit smaller, so I do like that. It's a more grippy grip. It's a softer rubber, so it feels still very comfortable to drive. You've got all your trims, your EPAs, all that on there, reversals, all that, everything. Another thing is a little bit backwards, but again, maybe this is because it's Japanese. You go to the right to turn on and the left to turn off, which is backwards from every other radio I've ever used. That's the only thing that I've thought was kind of interesting. Oh, I just realized this says NP adjustment, so this must be your neutral point adjustment. So probably is for nitro, so you can have that additional brake in there, so like a stop brake. It does take 4 AA batteries, which it does not come with. It does not have the ability to run a life pack in it like the associated ready to run radios you've seen in my other reviews, so that is a little disappointing, but it is a very nice radio otherwise. And as you can tell, it has the tilt wheel, which I will say this, for us Bubba guys, you know, those Bubbas that eat like our beef jerky, a tilt wheel is great, because if you're holding that wheel straight and it's got a straight wheel, you're kind of like this or hanging onto the edge of it. This is actually straight when you're wrapped around your belly. As you can see, it is straight, and that's actually really nice. So if you're a bigger guy like me, you know, your typical Midwestern American, this is something that's so comfortable. And if you have a higher end radio, like a Futaba or Spectrum or something like that offers the tilt adjust like add-on, get it. Thank me later. Seriously. Get it. I put one on my old Futaba 4PXR. Hands down, made such a difference in my racing and everything else. It was the best thing I think I ever did for any of that. So let's go ahead and get into the truck. I completely forgot that I did not shut my curtain, and I got the dryer running right now. So I'm going to go ahead and shut my noise curtain, and we'll get into the truck itself. All right, and before we get in the truck, don't forget to caffeinate and hydrate. If you don't have your caffeinate and hydrate, go ahead and get you some before we get in the truck here. Alright, so third time of doing a video to try to get the top off of it, the charm, because I did it twice earlier and realized that I didn't hit record both times, so that was fun. So I've messed up in this video 4 times now, but it's kind of good because after I recorded the last video, I went ahead and changed out the decal set for the alternate one, and now you get to see what it looks like with the alternate decal set on there. I actually kind of like it better. To be quite honest, I think it's pretty cool. I went ahead and put the wheelie bar on, so let's go ahead and take the body off. You can see that the rear lip spoiler is now on and mounted. You got to kind of give a little wiggle and finagle to get it off there, but you can see there that rear lip spoiler is now mounted. That looks really good. I got the spot cut out right there for the wheelie bar because that is now on. So underneath here is actually completely different than the MT-12. Obviously, this is totally different. It is a totally different setup. You have independent suspension with wishbone top and bottom, aluminum cap shocks, which I thought was great because if you're familiar with the other 4-wheel drive monster truck that is actually a little bit more expensive than this that's brushed, the Stampede, you'll know that that has the plastic on plastic and they pop apart and blow shock oil all over your truck all the time. This won't do that. Has a waterproof speed controller, waterproof servo, waterproof, obviously, brush motor, because they're always waterproof for some reason. The receiver does not look to be waterproof though, so I'm not sure about that. It does have plastic dog bones, which I'm not a fan of that, and zero adjustability, which I'm not a fan of that. But it does have very, as you can see here, very flexible, I can do this side, very flexible parts. Flex means good. Flex means it will bend instead of break because we don't want them to break. You can change the track on this by these little clips that pop in here, so you can just use a needle nose pliers. pull these tiny little clips out of here. They're right here. You can pull these tiny little clips out. You can kind of shift the arm forward or backward. So that is a cool little thing. I ran a full battery pack through this, and as you can tell, there's like almost no scratches except for this little one in the bumper right here. So these bumpers are also your hinge pin braces, so that's a good thing. The other thing is, if you can see, the steering bell crank is just this tiny rod with these small plastic parts. I'm not a huge fan of that. That I would like to see probably be one of the first upgrade items on this is aluminum belt crank. There's a ton of upgrades for this and for the MT-12, which we're going to go over in about 3 or 4 weeks here. Well, from the time you're seeing this video, it's going to be about 2 weeks. But it will be on what upgrades are the best bang for your buck for $100 for the MT-12 and for this. So same amount of upgrades in both of them, see which one does better. I am going to eventually put the Reedy brushless system I pulled out of the SC10 ready to run in this one. And then this will have a brushless system in it. It's a 48 pitch gearing in here. The battery compartment in here is really nice because if you're running the Wolfpack batteries or anything else with a center mount wire coming out of it, this notch right here keeps you from pinching your wire. This is held in by this screw right here, which is a pressure pinch. So you can actually pull this out and run really long stick packs in here, which is nice. The shock towers are like 12 to 14 millimeters wide. They're crazy thick. Aside from the fact that the dog bones are plastic, I actually am not too disappointed with this. It is actually a pretty heavy duty thing. The tires are soft, though they seem a little bit small. I think they're smaller than what's on the MT-12, but the MT-12 has hard tires. So it's a push and a give and take. The thing that I would say is probably the most odd is just the lack of adjustability. I'm so used to having things that are adjustable. Like even on the Stampede, you have adjustability. This doesn't really have that much adjustable. So this is more of just to pull it out, throw a battery in, have fun, which you will, because it is a lot of fun, which you'll see in the video after this. And then next week, when we take them outside and compare them, you're going to see a huge difference in the two. It is going to be crazy. We will be having them outdoors here in the woods, in the yard, kind of some, how is it at home bashing. We're also going to take them to the track and see how they do going around the track a couple of laps. So that'll be interesting to see a solid axle monster truck on the track. This, I'm sure, will do well because this looks like a four-wheel drive short course truck with big wheels. Honestly, there's not a lot to go over on this. Like I said, there's a lot of upgrade parts. We'll talk about those in the upgrade video as to what we can do to it. There's a lot that you can do to it because there's not a lot that you get with it. One thing that I do find interesting, I think it's only because this shares the chassis with the on-road cars. They must run separate shock towers for on-road cars than on these because if you notice, it does have the snap links here for your sway links. So those ball ends are on here to snap on, but there's obviously no sway link mounts on these shock towers. A rear wheelie bar is these 4 screws that come through your rear body mount post extension thing. You just pull those out and then zip them back in. These are coarse thread. They're not fine thread, which is great because when you're dealing with nylon composite, fine thread strips, coarse thread does not. Coarse thread is just like a wood screw. It gets in and it grabs. That is really nice to see. I'm glad to see that these aren't fine thread. All right, so as you can see here, we did go ahead and take the cover off. This receiver does not look waterproof, so unless they're telling me something that I don't know, like maybe it's sealed inside, I don't think it is actually. Speed controller's nice, got a nice capacitor on it. It's already set for LiPo, and as you can see, it's 48 pitch gears with really nice slipper setup in there. There's 6 screws to take this off, 1 to take this off, so you do have to take off a few screws to get into there to change things. But overall, I'm actually surprised to see this being 48 pitch because it feels like a 32 pitch. I wish this was a little heavier. I wish this was aluminum and the front and rears are steel, but you can get hardened. So that is a few things on the Kyosho here. It's pretty much all we have to talk about today. I'm going to put this back together and give you some footage from running it indoor. We'll see how it does there and see how it compares to the MT-12. Coming next week, you will have the outdoor comparison of the two. The week after that, we'll talk about upgrades. What can you get for $100 on that, and what can you get for $100 on this? So that'll be coming up. We have our club meeting next week for what we'll be running for indoor. I have been debating between 2 classes. One of them I actually really am leaning towards, and one of them I'm kind of like, it would be fun. It'd be fun is the Traxxas Fortec class. It would be kind of fun because of the fact that it is a spec class. It's apparently pretty big. It's big down in the city, so there's a lot of people who travel and race it as well. I don't know that I really want to run a Traxxas car though. What I really am curious about is for $400, can you get the $200 Yokomo Rookie Speed 1.0 kit, the Hobby Wing spec motor system, whatever they decide at a meeting of what we're going to be running, and a decent steering servo, and then I can just like throw in one of these ready to run radios in it that I have laying around and see how it does. I'm actually very curious at that because I want to know, will it compare to all these guys who have $1,500 touring cars? Because if you can get away with doing a touring car for $400 to make it through the entire winter, 17 weeks of racing just to keep your wheels under you, that would be awesome. But I'm really curious if it will compare and keep up with these expensive race cars. If that's something you're interested in hearing and reviews you're interested in hearing through the wintertime, go ahead and comment below and let me know. We plan on getting some GoPros to wear at the track, so myself and then my wife, when she comes out, she can do some video as well. Oh, and my dad too. And we're going to see just what these things do on the track. We'll try to give you some track footage. That way you're not just like, oh my goodness, we're not seeing what you're actually doing, like with all the stuff you're talking about doing to vehicles, and is it really working or is it not? And you're just seeing my heat sheets and then video of other people driving. Because I know that gets boring. And I know that sitting in this room also gets boring. It's not like it's changes all that much. I know. I gotta do what I can with the money I've got as it comes in. That is what the plan is for the coming winter weeks. There will be a lot of racing to come. If you haven't, go back and check out my vlog from Chill on the Hill. You can see what that was like with the different getting ready and prep videos and stuff. I'll do the same thing once it comes indoor season time. You can let me know what you think about that. If you really like it, I will vlog video every week's races and get them posted up. So we'll have our Friday vehicle, as long as I can keep up on it, we'll have our Friday vehicle videos, which will be either reviews, tutorials, comparisons, things like that. Or we'll have a race day video because we'll be racing every week. So and have a midweek video and an end of week video. So if that's something you're interested in seeing as well, please comment down below. It should be a fun winter. And I'm really excited for next year when I'll be back to running 8-scale E and Nitro Buggy. We'll have lots of content next year. Come spring for most of you, late winter for us up here when it's still snow on the ground in March, I'll start having tutorials on building 8-scale kits and nitro kits, break-ins, what I do for break-in, things like that. My break-in's not much different than most people's, as there's really only one way to break in a nitro motor, but it may vary a little bit. You might just want to know what I'm doing. That is to come, and there will be a lot, and so we'll have a good time. And I appreciate you. Those of you who have already subscribed to this channel, being as though it's only a 3-week-old channel, I really appreciate it. You guys are awesome. And I look forward to continuing this journey with y'all. There is a Patreon account. It's there. Don't do it right now if you don't want to. If you want to, that's great. It will help support this. But really, the Patreon content is not going to come until springtime when I start building more things. For right now, what you see on YouTube is what you're going to get on Patreon. So there will be little tidbits and things that I might put on there to give additional content. But for now, that is just there. I got it ready so that it would be ready when time came. But if you want to go ahead and join that, you can, just to help support. And if you're into this hobby at all, you know that extra little bits of support here and there is very helpful. So especially if you're wanting to get more content, more support equals more money equals more content. Anything that you see that you might want to do, just let me know and we will try to make it happen. I'm trying to steer clear of anything that is Traxxas related or Losi related or Armo related. I will say that caveat right up front because there's so many videos out there. Most of them are a little biased because they're like, here's a free thing, review it, because Horizon likes to do that. But I'm trying to review stuff that doesn't normally get touched all that much. These companies are great companies like Kyosho. Why in the US Kyosho is not bigger than it is, I have no idea, because the quality is really, really good, especially for the price. Just some things to kind of keep in mind about what we're going to be doing here. Again, like I said in one of the previous videos, I think one of my first videos, this is going to be mostly racing stuff. This is going to be one of the few Basher series things that I do. There's only a handful of Basher things I'm going to be doing. Like I said, if you'd like to see a nitro version of this truck next summer, let me know and I can pick one of those up, because that would be pretty fun. I think they're like $400, so it'd be pretty cool to see that. So that's all I have for you today. Here's some driving footage. She's a handful. It'll be something to leave you until next week when we take him outside. The Mad Van is an outside truck. It is way too fast for inside. And by way too fast, I mean I can't even control it, and I know how to control a car. It's going to be interesting to see what it does outside because the thing flies, quite literally flies. So let's take it outside. So until next time, keep the rubber side down, the shiny side up, and remember to stay in the group.